She's had enough.
Myself, sorry.
I've done that thing where I need a wee, but I'm holding it.
Yeah, it's the best. Keeps us quick.
Yeah, exactly. I do it before sex sometimes as well.
No, you should always wee before sex, because otherwise you'll get a urinary tract
No, the
infection.
thing, it's called pegasms. We'll talk about it another time. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Is that all right? Can you hear us? We good?
Whee!
Okay, great to go.
Everybody knows you're never the only one. You're never the only one. Don't live inside your shame, 'cause everybody makes mistakes.
Hello and welcome back.
Sorry.
The fuck?
It's just do it again.
I think about had.
Sorry.
What was so funny? What
I
did
don't know.
What did I do?
I don't know. It was a bit kids presentery. Like, do you know what I mean? Try again. Try.
Do you know what? I'm inspired
better.
by you yesterday.
I'm not wearing
Last
any.
week. You went like this. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Welcome to the 9 o'clock news.
You did. All right, let me try again.
Okay.
Now I'm really self-conscious.
Cool.
Okay, great. Hello and welcome. Okay. Stop staring. Stop it now.
Sorry.
Okay, look at the camera. Hello and welcome back for another week. This is actually the final week of recording this year. Is that better?
Much better. Final week of recording this year.
Yeah, before we head off for Christmas. So but the problem is, for those of you listening, it's January, and I suspect you're probably looking at me in particular going, who the fuck does she think she's dressing up like that in January? But obviously it's December here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want you to know that I'm actually currently at home wearing tracksuit bottoms.
And if you're not watching and just listening, she's basically got a lot of sequins on. Not that you can see them because she's got such a big baggy white top on. It looks like she's just come in a pair of tights and that.
Do you know, is this how it's going to go today?
Yeah.
Okay. Just so I know. Right. If you're ever in any doubt, actually, despite the looks today, if you're ever in any doubt who's actually the bougiest between Emma and I, please know this. I'm going to Devon for Christmas and Emma's going to Dubai, which means that I'll be cooking my own Christmas dinner and hers will be cooked by a Southeast Asian slave.
Yeah. Let's see if that makes the edit, shall we?
Okay. Just in case the roast I just did, just in case I chicken out of using the roast I just did because of fears of getting cancelled, Bo gave me a backup roast.
Oh, great.
She said...
So this is your daughter roasting me now?
Yeah. She said, tell Emma she doesn't need to worry in a zombie apocalypse because they only eat brains.
Sorry, I couldn't get cancelled for bullying at this rate. That was a double whammy on the roast.
Better than racism.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, who do you think probably made that shirt? Did you buy it off Amazon?
No, Vinted, actually, it's pre-loved.
Okay.
That knocks your roast in half, doesn't it?
Judgy Jemima. Anyway, I thought it was going to be really nice actually this week to you because I know you've had a bit of a shitty week. Okay, you've been in a foul mood in the lead up to this record. You have. If you've been watching our Insta at this point, it's December. Go back and remember what a bitch she was to everybody in her family. And so I thought I'd go gently, but now after that, fuck it. So here I am. thought I'd go easy on her soap dodging, nana napping, biscuit scoffing ass, but fuck it. Today, I'm joined by the recovering addict whose personality without booze is even more unbearable than her hangovers were. Ladies and gentlemen, Cat Sims.
Oh, I had a cry when I read that this morning.
Did you?
Yeah.
God, that's fantastic. Well,
I had an actual cry.
I said to Johnny, I've got a roast cat, and he went, "Oh, I don't like roasts because actually, you know."
No, I didn't really cry.
Oh, so you're a liar as well.
Yeah. Fuck you. I don't know if any of that's going to make it in. Let's continue. Anyway, let's kick off this auditory orgy with a debrief of what's been getting us hot under the collar in good and bad ways, who we've been getting down and dirty with, and the naughty thoughts running through our exhausted, perimenopausal, overworked and underappreciated brains. Speaking of, I mean, Emma's already alluded to it, but I have been in a foul mood.
Really foul.
But I don't actually think on this occasion it's my fault. Like, I know that you think I've been a bitch, but I just want to explain a little bit about what living in my house this week has been like.
Okay.
Right?
Let it out, babes. Let it out.
Listen, first of all, if anyone's in the market for a couple of kids and they don't mind if they're a bit pre-loved, a little bit battered and in need of house training, then hit me up because I have 2 going for free. We're on Facebook Market for free with these kids, or Etsy because I did make them. I had my yearly Christmas meltdown last night, in fact, but it's been building up all week. I'm sort of hoping that that's got it out of the way. But I discovered earlier in the week that one of my crotch goblins had drawn on a lampshade. I told you about
Believe it when
this.
you told me about this.
Another had left a wet, like a dripping wet cloth on the sofa. So when I went to sit down, I just sat in a wet patch. That's never a good thing. We were doing the tree last night and they were racing around being silly buggers, knocked over a basket, broke all the baubles. They haven't cleaned their rooms, no matter how many times I've asked. Nobody wants to practice the fucking violin. I'm the one that gets it in the neck from school. My daughter refuses to finish reading a book that she should have done and should have read the entire thing in about a day and a half, and then cries because she's not a millionaire in accelerated read yet and can't see the fucking connection. She can't see it. She's a bright girl, lots of book smarts, not so many street smarts. Anyway, I don't know what it was that broke the camel's back yesterday. It was probably a sock on the sofa. You know the socks?
Oh yeah.
Socks.
Why? Why socks everywhere?
Oh, they're like
Everywhere.
They're like little love letters left around, but instead of love letters, they're fuck yous.
Little fuck you.
Every time.
Little cotton fuck you.
Little dirty cotton fuck yous. Every single time I see a little sock discarded on the kitchen counter, down the side of the sofa, perhaps by the front door, on my office desk sometimes, I just think, fuck you. That's all I think. That's what I think they're saying. It's what they're saying, isn't it? It's fuck you. That bitch will pick it up.
Oh, it's awful.
It's-
Can yours make their dirty laundry as it comes off their body, like just like not quite make it to the wash basket?
Oh, yeah.
The one that's like literally in front of them. Does
I
it
mean,
just
thank God. Thank
Fetty on
God.
the floor?
God loves a trier because they try to get it in the bin.
Oh, do they?
Well, they like throw it in the general direction.
Yeah.
They never quite make it.
Mine seem to throw it in the opposite direction.
I tell you what mine do with the dirty laundry that makes me apoplectic with rage
Oh, good word.
is, you know, when they wear something for 5 minutes
Yeah.
and they take it off and then they can't be bothered to put it away, so they just put it in the laundry
Oh my
bin.
God.
And then the laundry bin comes down and it's full of clean fucking clothes they couldn't be asked to put away.
Yeah. I know.
And do you know what? It's not even that I'm not that patient. I'm sober. I can be patient. But this is 11 years of this shit.
Yeah.
It's 11 fucking long years of constant little fuck yous, of me having to say the same thing over and over again. And God bless Jimmy, I will always stand up for him. He is fucking incredible, but he is not great at backing me up on this shit. And do you feel like it's yours is the only voice that you hear?
Yeah.
And it's nagging and it's angry and it's irritating. And Jimmy had the nerve to go, well, you know, I talk to him about it too. It's just that I don't shout. There is not a judge in the land. Like if I stabbed Jimmy in his sleep, there is not a judge in the land that would send me down for it.
No.
She'd be like, I get it.
Yeah. Female judge.
I get
100%.
it. 100%.
Honey pea.
Honey pea. Oh, I gave you that, didn't I? We're not doing honey pea, by the way. We're not doing cosy lives and we're not doing hollybobs.
I knew it.
Anyway, it was just too much yesterday. So at some point, I exploded and said, I'm going to my office and I don't want to see any of you fuckers again for the rest of the day.
I saw this on the gram.
Yeah. And I sat in my office and I did have a little moment of self-reflection and I thought, is it because I'm stressed, I've got a lot on, that I'm being unreasonable? Is this an overreaction? And I really thought about it. And it isn't, actually. I don't think it is. I think I've just let it go to a bit. I've done that thing where I'm like, it's easier if I do it, to the point where now nobody else is ever going to do it.
Can I ask you one question? Don't bite my head off. When are you due on? When are you due on?
Well, like the end of this week.
Okay, right. So can we just take a moment and
I
realise
just
why?
got over the ovulation rage, though.
All right,
Jimmy
I'm just
and I are
saying.
only just recovering from that clusterfuck.
I'm just saying. Okay, just take a breath.
Listen, I need to communicate. So I have now sat down. We had a big come to fucking Jesus chat at the dinner table last night, which I had to be dragged to. So I was like, no, I'm staying in my office.
You refused, didn't you, to walk through the rest of the house
Yeah.
because you knew how many things were going to trigger you on the way through to the kitchen.
I said to Jimmy, frankly, I don't want to leave this office because I don't want to have to walk through the living room and the kitchen to get to the dining table, because on the way, I'm going to be pissed off a million times by the shit that's left lying around. I don't want to be that person. And he was like, let me just check what it's like. So he went ahead of me and like it was like clearing the fucking landmines.
What, the breadcrumbs of like fuck you socks that the kids had left.
Went to pick
that
those
Hansel
up.
and Gretel had left behind on their way to the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to the kitchen, we sat down, and I was like, obviously gave them all a big like bollocking.
Everyone's
And then I said,
edgy as well around the table.
oh, nobody's having a nice time.
Everyone's having a good time.
No one's having a nice time. Everyone's walking eggshells. I'm throwing those eggshells out like fucking you wouldn't know. Anyway, so I sit down and then I say, listen, my part in this, because I'm a very evolved person, my part in this is that I haven't fully communicated what I need right now, which is actually I'm really under the stress of lots of deadlines. I need Daddy to step up and do what I would normally do. And that means you guys are going to have to step up and do for yourself what we would normally do for you. So actually, I'm going to be pretty absent until Christmas because I want to be present and done with all my work, which means that you have to step up and I need that support. Funnily enough, like when I said it like that, everybody went, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, yeah, so I am the problem.
Yeah.
Not entirely, though.
Yeah.
Not entirely.
No.
But I was guilty of relying on telepathy as a reliable form of communication, and it bit me in the arse.
Are you feeling better?
Don't
worry about it.
Yeah, I am actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's all good. Other than that, I got the Christmas tree up.
Well done.
Had a fight about that too. I'm just writing the book.
Yeah.
That's it. What about you?
Well, I mean, I did say before we came on air, there are way worse things going on in the world right now. But the most challenging thing for my entitled little self is that we've been living without a fridge freezer for a couple of weeks.
You mentioned this, and I'm baffled that you've gone that long without a fridge freezer.
I know, because the fridge and the freezer went. Then we got cover for it, and they went, oh, because it's the first breakdown, you can't actually get a replacement fridge, so we'll have to fix it. And then they said, great, we can fix it, but we don't have the parts that you need in stock, and we don't know when that's going to be. So we were kind of like, okay, so we don't want to buy a new one because we could potentially.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've been holding out.
This is life admin at its best, isn't it? It's the dullest of all stuff.
So dull.
But it takes up so much time and energy.
But as is my role in the house, it takes up a shitload of energy because it meant packed lunches. I couldn't keep, cheese, simple things like cheese and
Your
milk
kids have
and
packed
bread.
lunches?
One of them does, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So therefore, I was having to buy that every day, and and dinner, which was expensive. And then the diet went out the window. So my head was, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, then you're you're in a bad mood because
Yeah.
you're like, I feel rubbish.
Exactly, all that. And I was just pissed off because I thought, fuck, I've got cover. If it was my car, I get a courtesy car.
Where's my fucking fridge?
Where's my courtesy fridge? I want a fucking courtesy fridge. And also, it's soul destroying with everything that's going on in the world, everything you are bombarded with on social media. That throwing away hundreds of pounds worth of food.
Yeah.
It's just soul destroying. And I hated it. And yeah, so for all of those reasons, it also desiccated my kind of holiday body. I say holiday body instead of a beach body because I'm, as you know.
Isn't a holiday body just the body you take on holiday?
Well, it is. But basically kind of my body being holiday ready for me means trying to shift some pounds so that I can come back the same size that I left. Because I like the all you can eat breakfast buffet, and we're going all inclusive.
Nothing better. There is
yeah.
nothing better than a hotel buffet breakfast.
I mean,
nothing.
We'd love it in our family.
Me too. The kids are like, when we go away, they don't actually care where we stay in. Whereas I'm like, I'd quite like a nice hotel. Yeah. They're like, as long as it's got a buffet breakfast, they don't care.
Exactly. It's perfect. Never eaten so many courses for breakfast. So I know it's not great. I know I am a self-confessed yo-yo dieter, but I'm okay with that. Anyway, I have switch from my everyday anxiety to my festive anxiety, which means the extra load of going to the supermarket every day, which is one step too far. So I said to Johnny, just, and I think because he was scared for his life, he did it. Go and please just find us a fridge. Go on Gumtree, go on Facebook Marketplace. Just get us just something.
A temporary fridge.
Just temporary. We can use it for something afterwards, whatever. So an hour later, he returns home with this little under the counter fridge, which he then opens. He goes, oh my God, it stinks of skunk. I was like, what? And I went, does it even work? And I went, did you get plug it in? He went, I wasn't going in the house. I went, oh, okay. I went, so if it doesn't work, and he goes, don't worry, I know where he lives. I went, but do you want to go back and argue with him? Because I'm just like, look at this. Anyway,
How much did it cost him? 20 quid?
20 quid.
No, it didn't.
20 quid. 20 quid. Okay. So obviously I'm over the moon that I have to then dig out my hazmat suit, like the bleach and everything to clean it. It had nicotine stains inside the fridge. God knows what they were using it for, but either way, anyway, I had to do I had a manic day as it was, and I had to kind of clean every nook and cranny and get in there and use like all kinds of bicarb and lemon to like get rid of the smell.
White vinegar.
But I'm just relieved that it works, and so I'm grateful. I've got a fridge, and that basically is the only thing that's really been on my radar since the last time I saw you.
Okay, good job. Hey, if we steam through this, we might get your bonus episode of you makeup free in.
Oh God, do we have to?
Yeah, it's
I'm
better
not
to do
mentally
it while we're
prepared
here.
for that today. All right. So look, no matter how weird, awkward, or
Start that again. Sorry, just with a bit of more of a break between. Okay,
Well,
prepare for that. So look, can you do that again? I'm not doing it just because you
sure?
did it to me earlier. Now I am, but I just need more of a break.
So look, no matter how weird, awkward, or embarrassing your life gets, there's always someone out there who's got it just as bad or even worse. Cringy confessions, freaky habits, poor decisions. We've all been there. And the aim for us as this podcast progresses is that we can share all of our stories, whether they make you laugh or they make you cry, so you realise you truly are never the only one. So Kat, what have you got for us today?
Well, inspired by the story of what's her name
I don't know.
on the radio show with the baby first night.
Oh, Sean Welby.
Inspired by her story
Yes.
of accidentally basically demanding that a new mum make her milk for her, thinking it was a midwife.
If you missed that story, go back to the last episode. It's there at the
Yeah.
end.
Well, inspired by Sean Welby.
Sean Welby.
Yeah.
The radio presenter.
Yeah. Do you know
Bizarre.
what? Yeah. Inspired by her. She told a story about how she unwittingly forced another new mum to make her formula for her on night one of having the baby when she thought it was a midwife. Anyway, I am talking about this week. You're never the only one who struggled with baby brain in the early days, because I think a lot of us think of this as like just a bit of a joke thing, but actually it's really real. Now, I did a bit of an Emma this week.
Oh, what?
I did a little bit of research.
Oh, well done
Brought some
you.
facts and figures.
Okay, let's hear him.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Cambridge Dictionary defines baby brain as the condition of forgetting things and not being able to think clearly that pregnant women and postnatal women are often said to experience. And according to an article on the BBC, pregnancy reduces grey matter in specific parts of a woman's brain, helping her bond with her baby. I don't know why we need our brain to be reduced to bond. What? That's a thing. But anyway, that's the thing. And prepare for the demands of motherhood. So basically, that sounds a bit like they stupefy us. Our bodies naturally stupefy us so that we can get on with the demeaning and stultifying demands of motherhood.
Maybe it just got that little area where you like are obsessed with the mental load. Maybe it just kind of switches that off for a bit. Because do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Then
because you can't think of anything else.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe that's why we all go to shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says scans of 25 first-time mums showed that these structural brain changes lasted for at least 2 years after giving birth. European researchers said the scale of brain changes during pregnancy were akin to those seen during adolescence. Many women have said they feel forgetful and emotional during pregnancy, put it down to pregnancy or baby brain, and it seems with good reason. And it goes on to say that the study found that pregnant women were all affected in similar ways, regardless of whether they conceived naturally or underwent IVF. And there were no changes, unsurprisingly, in first-time fathers' grey matter in the study where their brains were monitored before and after their pregnancies, their partner's pregnancy. So good to know that the men have dodged yet another hormonal fucking shift. They really only get puberty, don't they?
That's it.
And then we get pregnancy
Yeah.
and postnatal
Yeah.
and menopause.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and every month we get the period hormonal
yeah.
change as well.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Just saying.
That's great. So baby brain isn't a fad term. It sounds a bit it's a bit annoying that there isn't a proper word for it, because I think sometimes we sort of diminish the reality of baby brain. Like, oh, it's a bit of baby brain. Actually, it can be quite distressing.
Yeah.
It can be very real. And I think when I had Billy, I feel like I couldn't even quite catch a thought. Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt out of control of the running of my brain a
Right.
bit. Like, I just sort of wandered from one room to another, wondering what the fuck I was supposed to be doing. And I remember that first night in hospital, and it was the worst fucking night of my life. And I was, because you were alone with your baby for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Your husband you make your husband stay for as long as possible, like
Yeah.
until the midwives are dragging them out by their hair.
Yeah.
And then you are alone with this tiny crotch goblin that you've made.
Yeah.
And nobody's told you how to look after it. It doesn't matter at this point how many fucking NCT classes you've done, how many books you've read. You have no idea what you are doing. And you're looking around going, why is everybody okay with me having this baby? Like, I can't even keep a fucking houseplant alive. And this baby is here. Anyway, I remember halfway through the night, 2, 3 in the morning, Billy's screaming. She's screaming and I'm jogging her and I've changed her nappy and I'm rocking her and she won't stop screaming. So I go to the midwife. Oh, I waddle. You know you waddle because you've got those pants on.
Yeah.
And everything hurts.
Uh-huh.
And I waddled to the midwife and I was like in tears. You know, like I was a soggy mess. I was like, I don't know what to do. She's crying. She went, have you fed her? And I went, what? She said, have you fed her? I said, yeah, I fed her last night. She was like, when did you feed her? I said, probably about 9 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. This is a newborn. Like, she needs feeding every 20 minutes. And I went, oh. So I went back and I fed her. Obviously, she was like, she ate so far, she then vomited it everywhere. Oh, no. And I remember that moment thinking, this is fucking it. Like, I knew that having a baby was like a commitment.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it was, but I wasn't able to imagine that baby, every single minute of my sleeping or waking life, was going to need me. You don't know how that feels until it actually happens.
Right.
Like, I thought you fed it.
Yeah.
And it went, and I think part of me thought it had 3 fucking meals a day.
I was gonna say,
Do you know what I mean?
Did you think? I know. It's like thinking, I don't understand like how you weren't like prepared for that.
No, I was intellectually prepared for it. But like, when it actually came to realizing that it's not actually every 3 hours.
Right.
You know, it could be every 15 fucking minutes, or it could be that they don't eat, or they don't want to eat, or they chew on your boob, or they are good at breastfeeding, or they're not. Like, I didn't realize there were all these nuances to it. I thought it was like 3 hours feed,
Cut and dry.
shut and
Yeah.
you know, I think that's what I thought.
Right.
So when I realized that this was like actually like forever, relentless, consistent, like all the fucking time, I do remember having a bit of a breakdown.
Oh God.
And I remember thinking, I'm not sure that I knew what I signed up for here.
Oh,
and
shit.
I'm not sure. Can I just put her out by the bins?
No, you didn't.
In my head, I thought that.
Oh my God.
I know.
Does Billy know that?
There'd been a fire station nearby.
No.
I might have left her on the doorstep.
No.
Obviously, I wasn't in my right mind. Calm down, Sandra. It's only a joke. I wasn't in my right mind.
Yeah.
But I did other things. Like, at day 2, went home, decided that I was going to go to mother care. Like, bearing in mind previously, the night before, when I'd actually got home, put her on the floor, I'd burst into tears because I couldn't conceivably understand how logistically I was ever going to have a bath again.
Wait, what? Sorry, did you used to like washing back then?
Fuck you. I didn't. I was like, how am I ever going to have a bath again?
Yeah.
Like that. And then, but the next day, even though I still was upset about not being able to have a bath, I thought I could just go to mother care. And again, I think I was still in that I'll just pop to the shops thing.
Yeah.
Took the baby with me. Absolutely no baby bag. Didn't take anything with me that the baby might need.
Oh my.
So when she did a massive shit,
Yeah. A punami.
the lady in mother care very kindly gave me a nappy
you were in
and
the
some
right
wipes.
place,
I was
weren't
in the
you?
right place.
Yeah.
She gave me a nappy and some wipes.
Yeah.
And then as she's scanning the stuff, God knows what I was buying. It wasn't like I hadn't, I'd got everything. I don't know what I was there for. The beeping of the like beep, beep as she scanned it.
Yeah.
It was like nails down a chalkboard. Like my soul left my fucking body. I screamed at her.
What? The
Is
woman
that-
sorry.
Who'd just given me a nappy and wipes. I went, is that really fucking necessary? And then I sat down on the floor, cross-legged, and cried.
Oh my God, Kat.
And cried. Mum was like,
Oh, was your mum with you?
yeah. She was like, I'm so, to the woman, she's like, I'm really sorry. She just had a baby, but there's no excuse. Were her exact words. And she wasn't wrong. I was out of my mind.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is so far removed from like how I felt. This is crazy.
I know, I was out of my mind. So anyway, listener stories.
Yes. Are they good?
Do you know what? They're quite good. No, they're not. They are good.
Yeah.
It's just that I was looking at the plumber midwife story, but I feel like I've told it enough. But obviously, I was laughing at my own story in my head. Basically, it was what just happened.
you
It's a
enjoy
really
that?
fucking good
Didn't
story.
you tell it at the end of last episode?
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I don't know whether it's because I've heard it or
So many times. It's literally the only good story I've got.
such a good
but it is a
story.
good story. So it's at the end of the last episode. But essentially, I mistook the plumber for the midwife. And I was literally seconds away from showing her my vaginal stitches before she went, just got to tell you I'm the plumber. Different kind of pipes.
It's completely different.
Completely different kind of pipes. Anyway, so here we go. I do want to mention at this point that even though we can laugh about it now, we can laugh about the stuff that we did at the time, it didn't
Yeah.
feel very funny. So if you are in the throes, if you're in the trenches of newborn life and it's your first time and you are losing your fucking mind and you don't think it's anything that should be laughed about, let me know that we've all been there and just see us as an example of where you're going to end up. It's always better to laugh at it. So here we go. From Hazel. She says, we went out a few days after giving birth in the middle of winter and didn't think to put a hat or a coat on the baby. For some reason, we thought 2 layers and a blanket would be fine. Also, we forgot burping was a thing until the middle of night 2, when we had to call my mother-in-law, all 3 of us in tears, begging for help. Newborn days are wild. Tori says, while I was pregnant with twins, I was forever losing items to the bloody fridge. I don't even know how I did it. It became a weekly occurrence. And would I remember to check there first? Nope. I find my purse, my keys, the house phone in there.
It's mad, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many women? The thing is, I don't think men do that. I don't think men leave things in the fridge. That never happens, does it?
Well, that's because they get up, they do what they need to do, and then they go to fucking sleep again. That's all they have to do. Hannah says, I was also in mother care 21 hours after giving birth. What the fuck was I thinking? Also with my second, I left her in the car seat when she was months old in the trolley while I put the shopping in the car. You know those like trolleys with the car seat adapter?
Yeah.
While I put the shopping in the car. I walked the trolley back to the storage place, still with the baby attached, and just walked back to my car, leaving the baby there. I was driving out of the supermarket before I realised my mistake. Thankfully, it was hella early, so nobody saw what I did.
Oh my God.
Day 7, this is from Sarah. I decided to go to the big Tesco. I love we call it the big
Tesco, the big one.
alone with the baby. I thought I was smashing it. I just want to say it's at those moments when you think you're smashing it that you are heading for a fucking fall. Like life is going to humble you in some way. She got back to the car and couldn't figure out how to get the car seat off the buggy and onto the Isofix in the car. Which, to be fair, I'm not going to blame baby brain for, because that's fucking
Isofix
hard.
can suck cock. I hate it.
It's so true. So she had to take the shopping and the buggy home on the bus, and you just know that she's crying, like she's sobbing. A few came in on Instagram. We got an email as well. I'll just have to put it in my notes. Started a note. Here we go. So this is from Bethany. She took her baby, 4 weeks old, to rhythm time.
4 weeks old.
Took her to rhythm time class when my baby was only 4 weeks old, because of course you need to stimulate a newborn who literally just discovered blinking. My baby slept through the entire thing while I sat there singing Johnny Finger with full-on hand motions like it was the Grammys. At one point, the absurdity hit me. I was a grown woman, cross-legged in a room of other serious mums, serenading my sleeping baby with Johnny, Johnny, where are you? Complete with jazz hands. I lost it, like snorting out loud, trying to hold it, lost it. I couldn't stop laughing. I actually had to leave the room because every time I tried to compose myself, the ridiculousness of the situation hit me all over again. Who even was this woman? Why was I there? And why was I singing to a baby who was asleep?
I love this so much.
It's so true, because it used to happen when, like, Jimmy would take the baby to put to bed or something, and I'd just be on the sofa, and he'd come down half an hour, 40 minutes later, and I'd still be watching In the Fucking Night Garden.
Yeah, we've all been there.
And Jimmy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know.
There was something really comforting about it, though. Now,
Yeah, or creepy.
no.
Oh. Okay, Sam went to Tesco's 5 days postpartum.
Is everyone in Tesco's or Mothercare?
Yeah, we've got a lot to fucking answer for. I was so tired, I laughed at everything like a madwoman. My husband said something actually funny, and I just stood there and wet myself. Not a dribble, a full piss.
I
My friend Chloe, and I love Chloe, says, I went back into the house and forgot Charlie in the car because he wasn't a habit yet. I also didn't bath him for a month because it didn't occur to me that he couldn't shower himself.
No.
But you know, I did something similar. I did bath Billy, but I never bathed her really with the like strong intention of cleaning, which I'm sure won't come as no surprise to you that I didn't know about cleaning myself or my babies. But I remember at one point she was a bit pongy. And I remember thinking, oh, she doesn't smell very good.
Oh.
And I lifted up her arms.
Oh God.
And there was literally curd.
No.
It smelled like an old cheese shop. Because I didn't think to like get in the pits and the bits. I just was like, oh, happy bath time, splashy, splashy, doo-doo.
I don't understand. This is so different for me.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly.
Anyway, Jo drove to work. She was living her best life, singing her tunes. She stopped for coffee, got to work, went in the back and realised she still had a baby and she hadn't dropped him at nursery.
Oh my God.
I've done that before. Lucinda, we had a chest freezer filled with all our prepped meals, steaks, meat, otherwise very expensive and like very convenient food. They were so ready.
Yeah.
She just got home with the baby and left the freezer door open and the whole thing went.
Oh no.
Gone. So not in the first few days as she spent time in the NICU, but the first few days home I was horribly sleep deprived, can't sleep in hospital and of course newborn, and carried baby, glass of water, phone and tablet downstairs. Somehow put glass of water in the oven, tablet in the fridge and phone in the washing machine. Only noticed when the baby made a mess and I went to put a load on. Then panicked about where I'd put the baby.
Oh God.
Running around crying, looking for him and he was in my arms. It's like looking for your glasses when they're on your head. Not a good day. Felt like I was losing my mind and rang my mum for help.
Oh.
Olivia, we got all packed up to leave the house for the first time and not only left the front door open and unlocked, but also wide open. Like the door was just open into the hall for whoever wanted to pop in and make a cup. I've done that all the time. I do that all the time now. That's really ADHD thing. But I actually think it has like the opposite. I think we're like double bluffing the burglars.
Right.
Because I think the burglars go, well, if the door's open, somebody's in.
That's clever.
Right? Nobody's just going to leave their fucking door
No,
open.
that's
I think
stupid.
it's safer than anything.
Not on your road.
Uh,
I've been on your
true.
road.
listen, they don't shit on their own doorstep.
Oh, I see.
They go into nice posh places like yours. They steal your shit. Rachel says, I took my 2.5-year-old and newborn for a walk. The 2.5-year-old was on a scooter and the newborn was in the pram.
Yeah.
The 2.5-year-old fell off her scooter, so I ran to pick her up. Suddenly, a car was tooting its horn because I'd let the pram go and it had rolled into the road. I just forgot about him. My mum brain hadn't rewired yet, and I instinctively went to rescue the one it already knew about. Luckily, he was absolutely fine, but I could have done without the judgy look from the car driver.
Oh.
And then Libby says, I would do stupid stuff like putting the cereal in the fridge, milk in the cupboard, coffee on my cereal and not sugar, etc. I was sleep deprived. I nearly ran a woman over on the crosswalk. I genuinely didn't see her. And I've done that where, like, you know, when you're like, I physically didn't, I don't know how you can be there. Because I looked and you weren't there and then you were there.
Right.
It's your brain fucking with you. Left a pot on the cooker to simmer food for lunch. Put in the baby. Shouldn't put the baby in.
No.
She has written that, but that's not what she means, I'm sure. Left a pot on the cooker to simmer food for lunch. Put the baby down, fell asleep, pot caught fire, burnt the house down.
No. Is that true? Is that true? No way.
That's what baby brain can do.
Bloody hell.
So if you're there, please know that we love you.
Oh.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard when you feel you don't know your own body. And it's working against you.
And also to the people, my baby brain just fucked about with me in more kind of weird ways. It made me think I was mad in other ways of just convincing that bad things were going to happen. This anxiety of like being things that just when
You had like intrusive thoughts.
yeah, really intrusive thoughts. Like I'd be scared to go over a bridge because it was either going to be like a psycho was going to come out of nowhere and push us off, and so I'd have to think about then if the baby fell off the bridge and went into the like the water below, and then how would I get down? So and then I was like, I'm not going to go over the bridge
I can't drive over level crossings.
for that reason.
Yeah. I cannot drive over a level crossing without being convinced a train's going to take me out as I go over.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's
Does anybody though, like drive across a level crossing, particularly when you're the first person, or when not like or when the
When
road
there's no other cars
there's no other
around.
cars around, just going.
In the countryside, because then my brain's like, well, these signals aren't working. Nobody's here to maintain these
Yeah.
signals.
Yeah.
So I'll stop at a level crossing and I'll be like, I have to really like gird my loins
Yeah, it's one of
to
those,
give myself a good
I
talking
think
to.
it's the same. I think it's just the same feeling everybody gets when they go under a bridge. You know,
See, bridges, I don't care.
No, but like when you do that and you think no, when you go to the car park.
Yes, under that. You
everybody
do
does
that.
Everybody.
Or
does
when you
that.
go through a narrow thing and your dad goes, breathe in, and all of you in the car have to go. Anyway, over to you, darling.
This week, as I said, I want to talk about being. You're never the only one who just heard of the term pretty privilege. You'd heard of this term.
I'd heard of the term, yeah, but only recently.
Right. Well, it's been about for a while. As I said before, the term's used to describe the unfair advantages that people who are considered attractive receive in society, including higher salaries, considered more trustworthy, having an advantage in business deals. But on the smaller scale, it's essentially freebies like drinks at a bar, larger portions of food, swerving kind of fares and fines and things like that.
Instagram following.
Well,
I'm not being facetious. I'm serious.
No, I mentioned this because although I've never heard of the term, I was aware, I think, of it. I was aware of pretty privilege itself from quite a young age. And it's generally more prevalent, I think, in females. But we'll talk about this a bit more. So pretty privilege was introduced, I think, to most of us through films and television shows. Look at the late 90s, early noughties. There was continuous theme of the kind of ugly duckling character who starts, as being seen less attractive. And then once they get a makeover, to physically appear more feminine or whatever, they're desirable. We're talking Clueless, Princess Diaries, Mean Girls, all that shebang. So we know that those girls at school, and I wrote this and then I thought to myself, maybe it was just me, but let's see what you think. There was always those girls at school, my school, and I was at an all-girls school, so it's quite a lot of girls there, who they seemed to hold more favour with the teachers, and despite them being naughty. Do you know what I mean? They weren't like the good kids. They were just like the cheeky kids, and generally the ones that got away with stuff that I couldn't. And they were kind of part of this pretty popular crowd. I just remember feeling that the injustice, it's still so vivid to me. Like I can still feel it now. Just I'm such a good girl. And I see it with Molly, actually, my daughter as well. It's like, I'm such a good girl. Why?
But I think Molly's beautiful.
Oh, Molly is beautiful. I see Molly as beautiful.
But also, I suspect, I'd love to see a picture of you when you were at boarding school, because you're sort of painting the picture that you were like a munter.
Well, I mean, I was 8 years old. You don't really, 8 years old you don't really classify someone as beautiful at 8 years old. They're just,
Yeah, no, you're right. I get it. I do
what
get
I
what
mean?
you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, but the same girls were generally in like the popular gang. And although I don't have memories from this young myself, now, as I say, when I've had the girls and I've seen kids in primary school, both boys and girls, they gravitate towards the pretty girls. They do. And studies have shown that even babies will gaze longer at attractive people compared to unattractive people.
And it's weird, isn't it? Because you sort of think it's subjective. And I suppose on a personal level it is. Like personally, I find in real life people attractive on my own terms, right?
Yeah.
But there is also this very agreed, very
Yes.
not subjective
Yes. The societal perception.
of what is attractive.
Yes.
And I suppose that's changed a little bit, but fundamentally it hasn't. Like, okay, you can be thinner, or you can have a big bum, or you can be skinny, or, they can be a bit curvier. But essentially, the faces of attractive people throughout time haven't really changed.
No, and they've done so many studies, like even children will trust attractive people more, male or female. They just trust, they're more trusting of them. And they've done research as well, which I think you'll like this. They've done research proving female students earned lower grades in online classes than they did in-person classes. Okay, and they also did a study that shows that attractiveness actually has a bigger impact on men's social economic fortunes than women's.
Well,
They're
yeah.
more.
I think so. I mean, I think because men have more social economic potential anyway.
Right.
So I think that if you are already a man with that privilege and then you're a really fit man,
Yeah.
you're going to get the most money.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I know.
How unfair. It actually found that men who were rated as attractive or very attractive during the adolescent years were more likely to experience upward social mobility, be better educated, have more prestigious jobs, and earn higher incomes. That's just crazy to me.
But I wonder what comes first there, because I think that good genes exist in very high echelons of society. So let's be honest, rich men don't marry ugly women.
I see where you're going with
Do you
this.
see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that, yes, they are, if they're attractive, if they have attractive children.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Made in Chelsea. There isn't an ugly person. There isn't an ugly rich person on Made in Chelsea.
I beg to differ.
Well, we all know about my inappropriate crush on Miles and Nazaire. Oh, even the name. Listen, I might need a minute. But I wonder actually if just if money attracts attractive people,
Yeah.
and then they have attractive kids who inevitably therefore have access to higher socioeconomic stratas and jobs and opportunities and privilege in itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's chicken or the egg, but I certainly think if you've got somebody who happens to just end up being fucking gorgeous and they're not in that society already,
Yeah.
I think definitely probably stands up that they still have access to more privilege because of the way they look.
Have you experienced pretty privilege yourself?
Listen, I'd be disingenuous if I said no. I mean, I don't think I'm the most beautiful person in the world, but I'm definitely not a munter.
Right.
So I think that I've got free drinks. Do you know what I mean? I've got free drinks. I've been let into, I've wangled my way into places I had no business being.
Can you remember how old you were when you first experienced it?
Oh, it wasn't until I was older, like a lot older, because I didn't have any confidence in myself and the way I looked as a teenager. I would say probably early 20s.
Right. Yeah. See, I became acutely aware of what essentially this is favoritism. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? When I and getting special treatment when I started wearing makeup as a teen.
Yeah, so that
definitely.
all ties back in, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, exactly. Something I touched on in our makeup free episode as well. So now, kind of, I feel like I can see it from both sides. The perspective of it, and it's weird to say that I've experienced it because it kind of it's. I was thinking when I was writing this, I was thinking, how can I write this without kind of coming across as egotistical? And also particularly if nobody's listened to the makeup free episode as well. I think it it's hard to kind of explain without going into it in
We
too
should
much.
definitely go and listen to that one because it's an incredible episode.
But I have to caveat it with the fact that the experiences I've had have always come with me having a full face of makeup on, and I have seen stark difference when I haven't. Okay, it's very clear to me.
Yeah.
Very clear.
But I think in some ways as well, I've always known. I think there were times when, as I was growing up, I knew when I was going to invoke the pretty privilege.
Right.
So, like, if I was like, we can get in, even though we're like 18, or even though like 17, and you need to be 18 or 21 or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I would like make sure that I looked as pretty as I possibly could.
Yeah.
Not consciously in a, well, yeah, I suppose like,
Yeah.
I am going to invoke the pretty privilege.
Right.
I wouldn't have been able to articulate it like that. But I'd be like, and I think it gives you a confidence like, yeah, I can do that. I'll do it, because there is an element of something inside you knows that the way you look can be a tool.
Well, that's it. That's why you see it from these really strong personalities from very early on at school.
Yeah.
The popular crew, those kind of girls. They're just because they've literally grown up with it.
But they also end up being the boring ones. It's the
not-
people who don't have the pretty privilege that end up often being the most socially
Because
interesting.
you've had to overcompensate for it in other
Yeah,
ways.
the most, or kind or whatever, because you have to find other ways. And so maybe it's just a case of balancing that out. But I think the problem is that we overvalue the pretty privilege.
Right. Yeah.
Because not everybody's great at everything,
No.
right? So some people are pretty, some people aren't, some people are funny, some people aren't kind,
Yeah.
whatever. But I think we do put an awful lot of value on the pretty privilege.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily give you a charmed life. I'm going to say that, but I do think it oils the cogs and makes the kind of journey a little bit smoother. So you can choose, I think, to take advantage of it positively or negatively. And I think there's many people who I can only assume are kind of less self-aware and who go through life with a kind of air of entitlement. That's I see. We've all seen those kind of people. But as I've got older, particularly early 20s. And I was looking to forge those female relationships, I actually found myself kind of socially trying to overcompensate for the image that I gave off, especially with girls who might think, base their opinions on, like I was saying, this confident girl with a full face of makeup. They were not realizing that was kind of my confidence mask.
Yeah.
So having grown up with what didn't help was I grew up with a really close relationship with my dad. So I was always very much more comfortable in
Men's company.
So that would offer me in a mixed setting. I'd be faced with a kind of sense of distrust and jealousy. And I hate saying that because I can't think, why would anyone want to be jealous of me? But, that would often be quite a challenge. So I'd end up leaving myself really, like making myself really open and vulnerable and, kind of to try and get them to kind of open up to start this kind of bonding thing.
Yeah.
But actually what it left me was wide open to just be fucked over left, right and centre.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And just be very self-derogatory and things like that. And it was silly. But have I used it to my advantage before? Yes, I have. I may have, on occasion, Kat, fluttered my eyelashes a little bit just to get things in the past, a bit of guest list or getting served a bit quicker at the
smile,
bar.
little wink.
Bit, been given a bit of preferential treatment maybe without even trying, but there's an uglier side to it too. And I think people will be like, really? Well, yeah, there is. I have to say you've got to be a bit more careful about when you're kind of being nice to guys.
Yep.
That they're not going to read that into, something
she's
else.
gagging for it.
Yeah, exactly. Being objectified, not being taken seriously as well.
Yep.
That's another thing as well. Not being respected or taken seriously. Having to tone down my personality, like I said, so it doesn't look like I'm being egotistical.
Because you
And I
can't be
have to
beautiful
say-
and have a great personality.
Of course you can't. But I think this is very much, I would say this stopped probably after maybe like 35. I'd say it was only that small period, I think, where I kind of was navigating it. And, obviously then getting into marriage and kids and stuff, it's like... nah,
You don't have time for it.
Time to do
Also,
that.
you're not in those situations as much, are you?
No. But yeah, I spoke briefly about this when I spoke about body positivity and the fact that I do feel like we still live in a world that celebrates skinny, and I feel like I do believe it's the same for beauty as well. I do think we still celebrate beauty very much, and we only have to look at social media, like you said, to confirm that. You just scroll through TikTok and you see cringy videos from hot guys and girls with millions of views, and the comments are saying, "Oh my God, you're so hilarious." They're not hilarious, are they?
No, they're
Generally,
no.
they're not hilarious. They're probably just they're very hot, but maybe a little bit boring.
What about those couples that go viral because like one of them is beautiful and the other's a minger? Have you seen those? There's like two or
No.
three, but they're like so. And I can't. Part of me is like, I can't believe that's true, but that obviously says more about me because like, why would somebody fall in love with somebody just for their personality? Is basically what I'm saying. But they're like, yeah, we love each other.
Oh,
One of them's like, I know it's not, but it is jarring. So there is this expectation again as well that people sort of meet their level.
oh yeah,
You're sort of attracted to your own level.
Right,
Because we
right,
talk about
right.
punching up or punching down.
Yeah.
I've always said to Jimmy that, well, at first he used to say I'm fit and you're funny. And now I'm like, well, I'm both. Sorry.
Catch up.
But
But I do think it's easier to vilify kind of pretty privilege in girls, but guys have it too. And I think, you only have to look at how women react to, and this is really important, that the way women react to attention from men who kind of are perceived to be good looking as opposed to those who are not. So like, for example, if a guy that we would classify as, say, good looking by societal standards or whatever.
Klaus Bang.
Was...
Do you need a minute now?
Oh, I need longer than a minute. If like someone that you thought was good looking whistled at you, would you call it harassment as you probably would if it was somebody who you didn't deem as unattractive?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are definitely people who feel more uncomfortable, who are less welcoming of attention from somebody who's not attractive. Yes, I think that's
It's
true.
pretty privilege.
Yeah.
It's pretty privilege in men, and attractive men always seem to get away with being more arrogant and rude too.
Yeah,
And they have to try as hard.
And you only have to look at people like Harvey Weinstein, Greg Wallace. All right, there's no pretty privilege there. Let's be clear, but there's the power privilege,
right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're in a position of power that can get away with stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for men who are beautiful as well. Like they can get away with saying things and doing
Yes.
things in a sexually inappropriate way.
Yes.
That the normal men amongst couldn't possibly.
Yeah.
And also wouldn't have the confidence to do because they know that they're not going to get away with it. And there is that, and I think women, we have the same thing, but it can be quite a sinister thing when it comes to the way men can use their pretty privilege.
Absolutely.
But then look at like Russia and the female spies that that's
What do you mean?
so have you not listened to the podcast?
Whose podcast?
A podcast. I can't remember who did it. It's like one of these investigative podcasts.
Yeah.
It's called I Die Till the Day I Die, or Live and Let Die. That's what it's called, Live and Let Die.
Isn't that a Bond film?
No, and it's about this. Well, it might be. I don't know.
I'm sure it's a Bond film.
Well, it's also a podcast. Anyway, I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
It's about this Russian female spy
Yeah.
who escaped to Russia.
Yeah.
And she was like literally the honey trap. It's like they use the beauty of these women to get into the highest echelons of political society. And it's based purely on physical and sexual manipulation. And it's fascinating.
Oh, I'll definitely listen to that. But I think it was a conversation that needs to be had.
Agreed.
And I think we need to hold our hands up. We need to admit that it exists. We need to discuss it. We need to understand it in the hope that we can encourage and promote a society that values people not for their aesthetics. I think I'd love a world like that, but their abilities, their character, and all the other things that make
Or
people
at least
wonderful.
if you're going to value them for their aesthetics. Because all right. But also let's put the same value on other talents as well. Also, there's intersectionality to it as well, isn't there? Because, a pretty white woman and a pretty black woman don't have the same pretty privilege.
Very true.
So it's a very nuanced conversation.
Very true.
But yeah, it's
But
really...
definitely one that needs to be had. And we have done that. Tick.
Check. Right, moving on.
Yes. Next week's topics.
Yeah.
What are we bringing to the table next week, my friend?
You are never the only one who's been bullied by another mum. I love how our overreactions to each other's topics are getting like, I know. It's like when Bo was lying to me about the lamp. And I was like, Bo, we're on our own. We're in the kitchen. Nobody's around. If you're going to admit to something, now's the time to do it. And I pointed at the lamp and I said, who did that? And she went, Mummy, who did that?
And exactly the same thing happened this weekend. Barley's broken Molly's gumball machine and left the glass on her bed.
Oh, yeah, because they're an idiot. They're not smart.
No, took the gumballs and then I came into the bedroom and Molly had a finger in her face and she was like, tell me the truth. She was crying. I would never do that. I would never. How could you think that of me? And Molly had gone. I went, do you want to talk about it? She went, Mummy, I went, truth. She was like, I might have done it, but I don't remember. Like, you don't remember? At what point don't you remember putting it back and leaving the glass on the bed? Like
The smashed
oh
glass.
my God. Anyway.
So my topic is you're never the only one who's bullied by another mum. And it isn't an experience that I've had, but it is an experience that a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, has had. She asked me if we would do this as a topic, so I am bringing it to the table.
Absolute pleasure. My God. I can't wait to hear the story. Is there a juicy story to go with
There
it?
better be. I mean, she's built it up.
Oh, what? So you haven't even got the story
She's going
yet?
to send me an email.
Imagine if it's just like, the way she looked at me in the playground and you're like, is that what I've got to go on?
Yeah. I'm going to have to eke some sort of comedy out of this.
I'm going to talk about how you're never the only one who, and I had a rant with you about this.
Oh, we are
at
on the
weekend.
same. I almost didn't do a topic. I almost thought, do you know what? We can both do this topic because we are on the same fucking page.
Yeah, 100%. We are never the only ones who think that people do too much for their kids. Stop doing things that your kids are fully capable of doing themselves. You are just and research shows this, you are doing them a disservice. And we'll talk about that more in the next episode.
Perfect. So before we wrap up, have we got any voice notes or any
Oh, have you?
emails
Have.
from previous episodes? Because we're just airing episode 4 at the moment. So we've got 3 episodes out there.
I have. As always, if you have anything to say on what we spoke about today or in past episodes, don't worry if it's already gone. It might have been even the first episode. We do not care. Whatever we've covered, we love to hear from you.
But we don't even have to have covered it. You could just have a wicked story that needs to get out there.
Exactly. It's what we want. We want the show to be about. All right, so here we go. This voice note is about when you were talking about laziness being confused with rest.
Oh, yeah, got it.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Is that me again?
No, it's not you again. Okay. It's not you again. Let me get it right. Hold on.
Oh, God.
Sorry, it's all my TikToks.
Hi, right, me again. Time for another TED Talk. I'm just listening while I'm cleaning to the first podcast, and I've got to the bit where you're talking about what's considered as lazy, but actually, no, it's working smarter. So I've got to the one where she texts or rings her kids while they're in the house. I've got an extra one. I'm out of breath, man.
I love that she's a Brummie.
Man, who says that? Anyway, my parent hack is we live in, I'm going to sound snooty, but I don't mean it to sound that way, quite a big house, and it's a 3-story. So what I have decided to do, left you hanging there for a second. What I have done is I have installed wireless doorbells in each child's bedroom, and they're on as loud as they can go. And the switch for it is command stripped underneath my sink in the kitchen, so that each one has got their name on it, and I just ding their doorbell when it's time for dinner. It's very middle class. But I don't care, because it stopped me having to shout and be ignored. Like you said on the podcast, they don't always listen to their phone, because sometimes it's on silent, sometimes they're gaming, sometimes they ignore me. They can't ignore the doorbell. They've all got a different sound. They've been allowed to choose it. But that is what I've done. And I'm telling you now, game changer.
I'm doing it as soon as I get home.
Is that not the best thing ever?
Also, it's like the middle class version of Downton Abbey.
I was about to
bell,
say,
you know, when the bell
yes.
rings and it's downstairs and it's like drawing room, and they have to run up to the drawing room. It's like that, but like the kids. You're doing it to the kids. It's brilliant. I'm going to do
It's really
it.
clever, isn't it?
I'm going to put, and you don't even. It doesn't need to be a fancy ring doorbell. It's just literally one of those wireless doorbells.
Yeah, exactly. They can't. I love it. They can't ignore the doorbell. She says,
Ding, 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 like they do when they. Do you know what annoys me so much about the door? The kids get out the car, and obviously they get out the car quicker than Jimmy, because they don't give a shit about what they leave in the car, so they
Right.
just abandon ship.
Okay.
And Jimmy's there behind them, or me, but Jimmy's there behind them,
doing shit that the kids can do themselves.
doing the shit that the kids could do themselves, and they come in, even though Jimmy is 5 steps behind them with the fucking key.
Yeah.
They ring the doorbell. Ding. So of course the dog goes. I am like, and then they look at me because I'm in my office and they can see me, and they're like, "Mum, the door." I'm like, "Fuck you.
Fuck you.
You can fucking wait until your father comes with the key. Stop it. Stop it."
So bad. You need to put some rules in. You boundaries.
Oh, how the tables have turned. Okay, what else have we got?
That's all my voice notes. That's all my voice notes. Have you got anything?
No, I thought you had an email. Do you not have an email?
No, I didn't have an email. But if you do have an email, you can get in touch at you're never the only one at gmail.com. Or you can WhatsApp us a voice note or message us on 0745 740 2704. All of that info is in the show notes. Don't worry. Even the correct spelling of your. But save that number. Put it in your phone. Don't drunken dial, please.
Are you joking? Do drunken dial.
Do you want a drink dial?
Yeah. Of course it would be the best. We're a comedy podcast. Anyway, listen, that's it for us. That's it for this week. We'll be back next week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Things I say and do, I'm always what I need. I'm neither saint nor sinner, I'm somewhere in between. This world is complicated, everything moves so quick. You're lying to yourself if you think that you got it lit. Everybody knows you're never the only one. You're never the only one. Don't live inside your shame, 'cause everybody makes mistakes. Oh. Don't judge me, I'm a weakness. Don't judge me on my flaws.